Hi, I'm Mimi. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for joining me on my Mounjaro journey. Thank you also for everybody that shared how the journey is progressing for you. I always appreciate the comments I receive to my video. It inspires me, and I like the fact that we have got a community and we're all in this together. I actually want to share quite a lot today, so I'm going to do my best to talk quickly. Some of what I want to share is medical things, my conversation that I've had this week with my doctor. So I really must stress that I am not a medical professional. So, you know, anything that I share is, you know, literally me sharing what the doctor has told me, and you need to speak to your doctor. You know, that's obvious, but I feel I need to say it. The first thing I want to discuss, though, is one of gratitude. I, like many people, have friends all over the world, and I have a particular chat group that I have been chatting with for literally about 20 years. It started off as a parenting forum when all of our children were babies, and our children are all now adults, teens, getting a lot older. And this parenting forum is South African based. I used to live in South Africa, so I have lived in the UK. I lived in South Africa, but now I'm in the US, and as you could imagine, has happened over 20 years. A lot of the people that started off on this forum, as I say, South African based, have also left South Africa and moved around the world, you know, much the same as I have moved to the US. And I've never mentioned on this group, we chat every day, we're all very close, and but I've never mentioned that I am on this Mounjaro journey. I try not to tell people because I think that if I let myself down, you know, I'd rather have kept that private. But I was completely surprised the conversation came up this week on the chat group about Mounjaro, and the conversation came up from somebody that was still based in South Africa, somebody that is based in the UK, and both of them happened to have seen either their doctor or their endocrinologist this week, and their doctors told them about this wonderful new medication called Mounjaro, but unfortunately it is only available in the US. And I did take the opportunity to share that I was on this Mounjaro journey, but it really was a realization to me how fortunate I am to be able to get this medication. And not only that, how I'm able to get it off label because I'm not diabetic, and I am able to get it with the Lily coupon for $25 a month. And so that's my moment of gratitude, the realization that I have got this accessible to me when people who I am close to, who are probably more deserving than myself to have the medication, because they have other medical issues, cannot get it in South Africa or in the UK. So that is my moment of gratitude, and it really was like a step back and think about it moment for me. So yes, that is my moment of gratitude. Now on to my 8th week. This was my first week on 7.5 milligrams. I didn't feel an awful lot of difference compared to the 5 milligrams, but I definitely, you know, I clearly had appetite suppression, but side effects or a stronger appetite suppression wasn't so obvious. But I do feel the week went well. My weight went in the right direction. I lost 1 pound. So my weight loss was a little bit less. I think last week I was 1 pound as well. So the last couple of weeks I've been 1 pound. I'm not going to consider that a stall by any means, but I do consider it a sign that I need to do a little bit more than relying on appetite suppression. Yeah, we all know that. And I think for many of us, I can't speak to everybody, for everybody on this journey, of course, but I think for many of us, planning meals, eating the right food, exercising, or just generally being active people doesn't come completely naturally, and that's why we're in this situation. So certainly that's why I believe I'm in this situation. So although my weight loss is only £1 a week, it's excellent, you know, it's wonderful. It's not a pound on, or it's not staying the same, it's a pound off, but it is the realization that I have to step it up in other ways. So that is really my summary of being my first week on 7.5 milligram. So the other thing, as I said, that I do want to talk about today is that I had a conversation with my doctor. It's telehealth, and in actual fact, the conversation went via message, but we were to and fro with the messages, and I felt quite satisfied with the messaging. So the first thing is that I've had the results of some recent lab work. I had a blood test a couple of weeks ago, and the results I'd seen the results, they'd come in, but you know, I don't want to read too much into the results until I've spoken to the doctor. And the really good news is my cholesterol has come down quite a lot. I know cholesterol in sort of lab reports are kind of split up, but I think there's 2 bad cholesterols. You know, maybe somebody can tell me if I've got that completely wrong. They've both come down. One of them has come down an amazing amount, that is using the doctor's words. The other one has come down and is almost in normal range. The good cholesterol has also come down, but it is still within a healthy range, so that isn't a concern, but maybe that is also an indication to me that I need to make sure that the fats I have in my diet are healthy fats, so good cholesterol. So but overall my cholesterol coming down is fantastic news. Nothing alarming showed up in the blood work. You know, there isn't, obviously, you know, we're concerned when we go on medication that it's going to affect kidneys, this type of thing. No, nothing like that. So very happy with my conversation with the doctor regarding the blood works. Now, the other thing I discussed with the doctor was my reaction that I've been getting at the injection point. As you may recall me saying, I'm very concerned because it's gradually increased, and the reaction I had to this week on 7.5 was definitely the worst reaction I've had. It's really bright red, hot, itchy, you know, to the point where I'm having to really watch it to make sure it doesn't spread. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, you know, if it spreads, would I have to go to ER? You know, you panic about sepsis and this kind of thing. Although the doctor didn't bring that up, that was me. So the 7.5 was definitely the worst reaction. So this was the right time for me to discuss it with the doctor. And he said, worst case scenario, we don't get on top of the situation and I will have to come off the medication. Obviously, that would be devastating. He actually said we will have to look at another GLP-1 medication. I already know I'm not going to get authorised for that. Mounjaro is my only hope, and using the $25 coupon. So that's the worst case scenario. So the next, I'm just going to say, I guess, because I've emphasised that it's gradually got worse, the feeling is that it could continue to get worse. He also said if I start coming up in like hives all over my body, or, you know, like a swelling in my throat, you know, I'm not silly. I'm not going to ignore something like that. But he told me to go to ER if I see something that's a very rapid reaction and it covers not just the localized area. So how to get on top of it? He told me to take antihistamines if I'm seeing a reaction, which I had already tried and it didn't seem to work. But he told me something that I wouldn't have quite expected. And it's, I'm not 100% sure how to pronounce this. Is it Flonase? The like nasal allergy spray? I'm going to call it Flonase because I'm not sure. Somebody can correct me if I've got that wrong. But he said to actually spray that on the injection site before I do the injection. So, you know, that must have like anti-allergy, antihistamine properties, and I'm assuming, you know, just kind of covers that area beforehand. So I did my, and he said to make sure it's dry. So I sprayed loads on, and then I sat there ages flapping some paper on it to try and dry it really quickly. But I did my injection last night. So far, the reaction isn't as bad as last week, but I will update next week when I do my my weekly update. But so far it has made a little bit of an improvement. But he said to spray that on before the injection, and to also be prepared to take, he said Benadryl, so I don't know if that as a brand name means it is the best antihistamine, but I've got some of that as well ready to take. So next week I'll update, and I'm really hoping that the conclusion is the reaction is not as bad, so we're not going in a negative direction with this, and we're not going in a direction where I have to consider coming off Mounjaro. Oh, and then the other thing I discussed with the doctor was my prescription. I'm losing weight. Whenever I've been on diets in the past, I've never been somebody that will lose 3-4 pounds in a week, maybe the very first week, but you know, I'll either stay the same for weeks and then lose a bit, or I will lose like half a pound. And honestly, the last time I was on what I would call a successful diet, probably about 15 years ago, I lost like half a pound a week. But I was on it for like over a year, and that over time made it successful. So because I'm losing weight, I'm happy with the amount I'm losing each week, being £1, £2. I'm very happy with that. I've said to him I'm really scared about just each 4 weeks pushing up the dose. It isn't logical to me if it's working. So he's already put a prescription through to my Walgreens for another 4 weeks on the 7.5. So I am super happy with that. If I find I'm stalling, then I will go up to the 10 milligrams after that. If I find I'm still steadily losing £1, £2, then, you know, I'm just going to continue on the 7.5. The thought of being eventually on 15 milligrams actually gives me the heebie-jeebies. It makes me a little nervous that will just be too strong. I'm assuming this is why they build you up slowly, so maybe if I just continued with the build-up I'd be fine, but I'm very happy that I am going to stay another month on the 7.5. I know from the comments that I've received to you know, my previous videos, and also from comments I'm seeing on other people's videos that I'm enjoying, that a lot of people are staying more than 1 month on a medication. You know, I really think that you know, the idea of staying, of moving up each month might have been what Lily did with their tests and their study groups. But you know, it's not a one size fits all by any means. I would be quite happy to stay on 7.5 through the duration. So really that's it. I think I can see the time on this video. I do think this is going to be the longest video that I will have shared. Would have been longer if I had talked slower. I tried to talk quicker, so hopefully I managed to achieve that. And, you know, again, thank you for watching. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for sharing your stories. It means so much. Thank you for subscribing. I'm excited that people are following my journey. And yeah, have a great week, and I will be back with another video in a week's time. Bye bye.